Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. I hope all of you are doing very well, I believe. How are the exams going on? Most of the major for the Nagaland Board of School Education. This video is basically for NBSE only, Nagaland Board of School Education only. So, how are the exams? There have been, now only mathematics is the major subject that's left. Science is done, social science is done. This is the blueprint of the question paper, which I believe all of you have it with you. If you don't have, I've slightly modified it. Of course, I haven't modified the marks definitely, but uh, I have just slightly removed some part, which is really not our concern at the moment. So you can just note it down as we will just begin very soon in maybe just a couple of minutes. Okay, guys, so are you ready? Shall we begin? Everybody is very quiet. So that you have 2 more days. So 2 more days, those who are, struggling uh, on maybe this video is basically actually meant for students who are struggling to get marks in mathematics, especially there are different categories of people, right? Students. So this video is just basically I'll be just focusing on how you can easily manage maybe 30 to 40 marks out of 80. And you'll be surprised at the end of the video that you will be surprised that it was never difficult at all to score. So planning is very important. So this might just help you in your planning and proper arrangement of your studies, mathematics. So If you're ready, then we can just begin. It'll be a brief video, only maybe 5-10 minutes, not more than that, because I know that you have to go back and then study. So okay. So anyway, let us just begin then. See, this is the blueprint of the question, which I believe that all of you have it with you. If you don't have, you can pause the video and then you can just write it down. No problem with that. Now, these are the MCQ questions. So MCQ questions, um, that's not my concern here. 2 more questions are there. Then we have the 3 more questions and we have the 5 more questions, right? There will be 6 5 more questions. And this time, especially for this batch 2022, you are given the luxury to choose questions. That's the internal choice questions are given. So you have the luxury to choose questions. Like for example, from unit 2. For example, from unit 2, you will be given 5 questions. Okay, let me just give you a brief idea. After that, definitely I'll get to the point. You'll be given 5 questions, like one from chapter 1, 2 questions from chapter 3, one each from chapter 4 and 5. And out of which you'll have to choose any 3. So, that gives you the luxury to, it gives you more varieties, because there might be some topics you may not have studied, there might be some topics which you may have studied, so it gives you the luxury to choose. So gives you more options, okay, to solve. Similarly, even from trigonometry also, you have 4 questions, out of which you have to choose any 2 which is convenient for you. You will be having 3 questions from chapter 8 and just 1 question from chapter 9. Similarly, coordinate geometry, there will be 1 question, of course. Construction, yes, 1 question. Areas related to circles or surface areas and volumes. So from here, you'll be getting 1 question of 3 marks, which will be maybe one from areas related to circles and one from surface areas and volumes. And then, of course, you'll have 3 more questions from statistics and probability. 2 questions from statistics, 1 question from probability, out of which you will be choosing only 2. So you can see so many options. And when you go to the 5 more questions, 5 more question will be from chapter 3, where you will be having options again, either or option will be there. So you'll be given 2 questions, out of which you'll choose any one and solve. Similarly, from application of trigonometry also, you'll be given 2 questions, out of which for all the 5 more questions you'll be given choices. You can choose any one of it. And one from triangles, one from circles, one from surface areas and volumes, and another one from statistics. So anyway, hi all of you. Shall we now get to the point on how to just quickly get the pass marks? Are you all ready? Shall we begin? Okay. If you don't mind, can you give me a thumbs up so that I will know that, okay, you are there. So shall we begin? Okay, anyway. Nobody is in the mood to reply. I believe it doesn't matter. Now you see, the point is this. Oh, thank you, Silkat. At least somebody responded, so that's nice. See, how to get this 30 odd marks. Okay, let's get to the point quickly. First question that you should be aiming for is the theorems. Okay, that's from chapter 7. No, sorry, chapter 6, triangles. So there are basically 4 theorems. One is I'll just write it in short, basic proportionality theorem, or which is also known as Thales theorem. you have the ratio of areas of two similar triangles theorem. You have the Pythagoras theorem, and then you have the converse of Pythagoras theorem. One of the theorem came last year, so maybe you can study that in the last, but I would not be giving any suggestions like based on that. So one thing is for sure, generally so far in so many years, there has always been one theorem from chapter 6 which is of 5 marks. So you have this only 4 questions which you have to study, and I believe these theorems you must have studied throughout the whole year, so I don't think it should be a big problem. And then I'll provide you the link after the video also, where I have solved the theorems for you, so you can just go through those videos also. So that's 1 5 mark for you. Okay, keep counting your marks. I will assure you that it goes beyond 32 without actually studying much. Of course, you'll have to do a little bit of hard work. Definitely, it will not come so easily, that's for sure. Another will be this chapter, statistics. Now, this is basically an easy chapter. It's about only tabulations. So, from here, there will be, of course, 1 5 mark question. So basically 1 5 mark question, you can expect the ogive, that's the cumulative frequency curve, right? The cumulative frequency curve. So you can expect that question definitely. So that should not be that difficult, right? Or you will be given another internal choice options, that's either mean, median, or mode. So out of these two, definitely ogive is much easier, but I would suggest you to study this entire chapter, okay, chapter 14. Just polish it off completely. Why? Because there is another 3 mark question which you will be getting. So this chapter alone will give you 8 marks, and this chapter is not a very difficult question. Chapter. Okay, this chapter is not a very difficult chapter, one of the easiest in the class 10 syllabus. So compared to the other chapters, okay, compared to the other chapters, so this chapter is much easier. So if you can just do this chapter thoroughly, do not miss even a single question. No, just practice everything. You are bound to get by any means. How many marks? 5 plus 3, you'll be having 8 marks. I hope you're counting your marks now. So keep recording your marks. That's like 5 plus 8. That's how much? 13 marks. Don't miss, okay? So study these chapters, and these are not very complicated chapters. So easy, you can easily do. Next is, I'll just first start with the 5 marks, but there's another chapter again, that is chapter 9. That's the application of trigonometry. Application of trigonometry chapter. Now this is another heavyweight chapter, okay? This is another, good evening Aman. This is another very important chapter because this is similar to statistics. Now why do I term this chapter easy? Would be because not easy, sorry, of course this is, yeah, you'll have to put in a little effort, but compared, I mean, it's worth the effort, okay? Because when you talk about, I mean, no disrespect to the other chapters, but when you talk about like quadratic, when you talk about like pair of linear equations in 2 variables, when you talk about coordinate geometry, there are so many exercises, 3 4 exercises are there. You do not know which exercise you should be doing, which exercise you should not be doing. But have a look at this chapter 9. See, if you have a look at this chapter 9, how many questions in total do we have? Like, we have about 16 questions. And yes, a hint is last year some questions came, so maybe no. See. Let me not suggest questions for you because that's not what it would be appropriate. So let's leave that. Uh, See, there are 16 questions only, and all are similar only. Similar in the sense like there are not many concepts required, not just a simple concept of trigonometry only. So you don't have to, flip too many pages. There's just one exercise. So one question is for 3 marks, one question will be for 5 marks. So this chapter 9, as per the blueprint, as you can see, Chapter 9, as per the blueprint, you'll have one question of 3 marks and one question of 5 marks. So if you just polish this chapter also completely, you will be getting one 5 mark and one 3 marks. See, as I just told you, of course, you have to put in a little effort, definitely. But what I'm trying to tell you is, by studying, by planning your subjects, by planning properly, your load can be much lesser, and you can still score the marks, because basically those who are trying to at least secure the pass marks or 40% of the marks, 40 marks out of 80 and all, at least 50% of the marks, like you may not really know how to study, what to study, too many to study, too much to study, and also that's why for them I would advise you to just stick to this. It'll help you. So from here, that's another how much? 8 marks. See, without studying much, so if you just add another 8 marks, how much do we get? 21. See, your marks already increasing. 21 marks. Now, okay. I hope you're keep writing it down now on pen, paper. I hope you're writing it down. That's another 21 marks. All right. Then let's moving on. This is only for this year only, okay? Because next year again the terms are going to be, conditions are going to be different. But for this year, the board has given you, some relaxation, so that makes your job very easy. But of course, yes, you have to do a lot of hard work. And then another 5 mark question that you can have, which I would suggest, is chapter 10. Oh no, geometry again. But no, that's not about the geometry portion and all. This circles is also quite similar to the chapter 9 only, because if you look at this chapter circles, have a look carefully. Do not judge a book by its cover. You see, there are hardly 15 questions in total in the second exercise, and in the first exercise, not first exercise, 10.2. See, 10.1, literally there is no question. Nah. Maybe 1-2 questions or 1 mark, 2 marks. See, 10.2, you have like 15 questions only, and from there, this was this was set 2021, so maybe you can take a risk. So there are only 15 questions. So 15 questions only are there, out of which, of course, 3 questions are MCQ. So literally, you have like only 12 questions to study, and none of them actually are difficult. So this chapter also is very handy. Okay, I would suggest you to study instead of studying some of the other chapters. So from here, you will be having one 5-mark question. So how many marks did we calculate so far? Accumulate 21. So if you just add 5 more, that's how much? 26 marks. Right. 26 marks. Then moving on, another easy chapter will be chapter 15, that's probability. So probability, don't tell me that it's difficult, at least class 10 standard. So from probability, you will be having one 5-mark question. 3-mark question. So we add that, how much are we getting? 29. Almost done. Almost done. See, that's how planning can do. That's what planning can do, Another chapter is obviously chapter 11, constructions. So constructions, don't tell me that, Sarah, yeah, that's not possible. Come on, yeah. 3 marks. Add finally 3 marks. What is it? 32 marks. So if now you tell me, pass mark, is it really that difficult? Without studying much, you can see 2 days you have. So that's why I'm giving you the video today, so that tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you can just spend your time here. Just see to it that you do not choose questions again from these chapters also. Just polish these chapters completely. Yes, there may be occasionally 1-2 questions which might be just that I can't say, okay. But literally, yes, you have your 32 marks. Simple as that. Plus, there is the MCQ questions from where hopefully you can score some marks. So 32 marks, and then I'm going to give you some more suggestions. You want some more suggestions again? This is the 32 marks, that's a pass mark. So now you tell me, please tell me, is it going to be that difficult? Please let me know in the comment section below. Has it been helpful? Will it be helpful for you? Please let me know. I also need to know, was it really helpful for you or not? So if you can do a little bit of planning, I don't think it's that difficult. It shouldn't be that difficult. Plan properly, but yes, please study. Okay, you have just 2 days. This is once in a lifetime shot. Imdang, it's good to see you. So this is once in a lifetime shot. Study this properly. You get 32 marks very easily. That's the pass marks. Okay, pass marks. So, but you should not miss any question. That's it. Of course, I'll be giving you some security marks also, bonus marks. But now what I want to know is, has it been, now you tell me, does this give you some confidence that, no, okay, that's really not that difficult without, as I say, no, without really studying so many chapters, so many so many chapters and learning so many things. Come on, let me know. Most of you are very shy today. I do not know why. So, yeah, thank you. So now that's your 32 marks. Plus, we have the MCQ questions. So I hope that you can definitely get 1 or 2 mark, not some 2-3 marks from the MCQ questions. Now let's go beyond 40. Okay, let's go beyond 40 now. Okay, right? You want more marks? Fine. Now, look, some extra marks. But this one, please do it properly. Okay. Now, the thing is this. See, if you look at the blueprint, look at the blueprint carefully. Chapter 8, Introduction to Trigonometry, you will be having like 4 questions. And from Introduction to Trigonometry, you will be having 3 questions. And in total, from trigonometry, you will be having 4 questions, out of which you have to choose any two. Any two. Simple as that, any two. So that means from Introduction of Trigonometry, I am just assuming. Exercise 8.1, definitely there can be a question. I am just assuming, okay? Don't blame me later on if something goes wrong. I'm just trying to share my experience only. See, from exercise 8.1, you see you have this simple question. That was the introduction of trigonometry, that first chapter. That was not very difficult. So you have this like about 9 to 10 questions. So this is one exercise which you can, without, if you don't like the, from my experience I'm saying, if you don't like the other exercises of trigonometry, then definitely exercise 8.1. I'm assuming that you should be having at least one question from exercise 8.1. So that's, the more you study, of course, the better, but just one step by step you proceed. Finish this, after that you can move on to the next. And then another exercise that I would suggest is the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula, so basically that's like exercise 4. There are other questions also, like 5 marks. 5 mark, there were two more questions which I haven't mentioned. That's like one 5 mark question will be from chapter 13. Okay, so chapter 13. So chapter 13, of course, there's this frustum exercise is there. 13, right? Yeah. So from 13, the frustum exercise is there. So from there, see, I don't want to be, just giving you questions because it may come, may not come. That I really can't say. No, it's really not proper to say. And then, but 13.4. Exercise 13.4, maybe you can give it a try. If you can just try a question. See, I don't want to guess any question because that is just guess only, so forget it. But maybe 13.4, you can just try for that 5 mark question, right? And another question will be from chapter 3, that will be maybe a graph where you have to draw the triangle, maybe, or a word problem. So that depends on you how you have prepared these two chapters. Okay, so that's why these are two questions where you really cannot be sure, no, which question, what type of questions and all. But these are very clear, less to study, solid questions. So that's why I'm just specifying on this. Another 3 more question which maybe you can give it a try. Okay, maybe you can just try your luck with the quadratic formula, because this part was reduced the last year syllabus. So that's like basically exercise 4.3. This is just an assumption. Okay, you study more, but see, up to this I can assure you, no, yeah, up to this, yes, these are all common questions. 90% I'm sure that yes, it is going to go. 100% I cannot be sure. Nobody in this world can be sure. Okay, but yeah, after that the extra questions if you get time. So exercise, this quadratic formula, by maybe this 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, maybe this one, but basically from here 3 mark question, 3 marks only now. So you'll be just getting a normal question only, simple question, or maybe one from example, maybe. That's another question. And another can be, we can give it a try at this, like a cross multiplication. Cross multiplication from chapter 3. Cross multiplication or substitution or equating the coefficient method. So definitely one question I assume will be from any one of these 3 methods generally. So that's another 3 marks from here, another 3 marks, which you can study. And then another question, of course, another chapter would be chapter 5, but that depends again on you. Chapter 5, that's the arithmetic progressions, but this chapter is actually not difficult. So from here, of course, there will be one 3-mark question. Chapter 5 also arithmetic progression, one 3-mark question will be there. So now see, from here there will be 5 questions from which you have to just choose any 3, and then polynomials is also there. So specifying on these 3-mark questions, you can just study randomly, and then as I mentioned, and you can just try your luck. So these are some questions where hopefully from here you can just easily get maybe around about 9 marks, not 9, about 12 marks. So that depends on how you study, because 12 marks, if you can add this to 32, then that's like 44 plus some MCQ questions. So that just goes beyond 45, approaches 50. So no. So I can go on. Okay, I can go on and on and on, but let's just stop here, because my basic idea was to give you an idea on how to approximately get this at least 32 marks. Do not miss any question from here. And if something goes wrong, we have the MCQ questions plus this, at least this exercises, please, this topics please study. No, this topics at least please study. Then in that case you'll have comparatively much lesser to study. Okay, instead of just blindly jumping into the textbook and then just going on practicing, because you have only 2 days to revise and practice. So basically, if you just study these chapters, I hope and I pray, because as I said that 100% I cannot be sure. So I hope and I pray that it works out for you. And MCQ questions are there, so all the best for the MCQ questions. And you have the 2 mark questions also. But see, the moment you go to the examination, all this question should be your target. Not just open the question paper, seek for these questions, find out where are these questions, and see how many have really come. If all good, start writing down. Another thing, do not lose any marks. Okay, you've studied this question for this chapter for a 5 mark question. See to it that you write solid. Don't go for shortcuts and this and that. Write properly. And especially when it comes to theorems again. Where it is, yeah. Theorems, please look at the questions properly, okay? Because theorems, like for example, Pythagoras theorem, converse of Pythagoras theorem, basic proportionality theorem. The question is like state and proof. State and proof. So when they say state and proof, don't forget to write down the statement also, because statement will at least have 1 mark, plus the proof will be of 4 marks. So if you don't write down the statement, definitely some marks will be reduced. Okay, definitely some marks will be reduced. So make sure that you write down the statement also. Okay, all right then. So I hope that this video gives you a planning, but yes, this is not enough. Okay, let me just tell you that this is not enough. This is not it. This is just a small guide from my side. Okay, from my experience, from my side. I hope that this might just give you a certain direction on how to study. But beyond this also, yes, please do study more, because the more you study, the better for you. But yes, at least take care of this first. That should be your first priority. Okay, this topic should be your first priority. Finish this. After that, yes, after that, study more again. The more you study, as I said, the more confident you will be. But the moment you go to the examination hall, yes, theorem, write it down. Statistics, 5 mark question, OGIF. If OGIF comes, chalo, write it down quickly. If not, then mean, median, mode, definitely one question will be there. Write it down. 3 mark question, write it down. Application of trigonometry, 5 mark question. 3 mark question, write it down. Circles, 5 mark question, write it down. Probability, 3 mark question, write it down. Construction, 3 mark question, write it down. So if all of this works out, you have at least 25 to 32 marks almost sure. Then you can move on to MCQ questions if possible, or you can again check out this question, see how many topics are there on your question paper. If you're lucky, maybe at least 2-3 topics will be there. About being unlucky, I can't say. As I said, I'm not 100% sure. Nobody can be. But let's hope and pray. I hope and pray that this works out. But yes, these are general questions. Okay, but you have to sit down and study on your study table. So I'll not take much of your time. Go back to your drawing board. Pick up your books. Don't be lazy. It's okay how the exams have went. It doesn't matter how you've studied throughout the whole year. What matters is the exam. Those 3 hours are very crucial. So now go back to your drawing board. Pick up your books. Don't be lazy. Exams are almost over. Don't give up. Almost over. Last few days. Write it down. Share this video as much as possible to your friends who also might be struggling. I've just tried my level best. Might not have met your expectations, but nobody's perfect. I am not perfect. I've just tried my best to give you a small guide. That's all. Okay, so all right then, I will be praying for you, for each and every one of you. I hope that the exams go smoothly. All the best to each and every one of you. I'll see you very soon. Okay, so till then, good night, all of you. Take care. All the very best for your examinations and study well. Okay, bye bye.